So on this episode, we are going to be doing the something borrowed from our something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. Okay, so now we're on the something borrowed. And I've been wanting to do the Texas Caviar recipe, which is our good friend Marlia Lisinski's recipe. And we're going to be actually having Texas Caviar at Brett and Brianna's wedding. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to make it on the show.
Let's do that.
All right.
And it's something really easy, just so you know. It won't take any time at all to do this, because it's just mixing up some things.
We could probably do this in like really fast mo.
We could. Let's go fast.
But we won't. Okay.
We're going fast. Okay.
So we are going to start by Gary is going to cut up this green pepper. I'm going to take these off. We've already taken off all of our the lids from all of our cans and jar. So while Gary does the green peppers, I'm going to start cutting up the celery. So basically 1 cup of green pepper, finely chopped, and 1 cup of celery, finely chopped.
And we're going to call 1 large green pepper a cup.
Yes.
We're not going to do any measuring. This is one of those recipes where close enough is good enough, because you're working with vegetables.
And lots of times we don't even put in the green pepper when we're making food, because it seems like it tends to take on the taste of the green pepper. I mean, everything tastes like green pepper.
Right. And then my mom back home when we were growing up, my mom would always make stuffed green peppers. You know what, I think rather than doing that and making all that noise, I'm just going to chop it on this.
Okay, just finely chop.
Yep, Mom would make stuffed green peppers, and it'd be ground beef with some spices, ground beef, onion, white rice, probably some other ingredients, and she would hollow out green peppers. Of course, we grew a lot of things in our own garden, and so she had lots of green peppers in the garden. And she would hollow out the peppers and stuff this mixture of ground beef and rice and spices inside there, and I was not a big fan of green peppers.
I don't think any of your siblings were.
No, I don't think any of my siblings ate it. My dad ended up, after we were all done eating the inside of the pepper, the stuffed green pepper out, my dad, I think, would sit there, and we'd pass our plates over to Dad, and he would eat all the green peppers. That was a lot of green peppers, because he loved it. When my dad loved something, he would not stop.
And they were married for over 60 years.
63 years, I believe it was.
So
I think I'm going to use this. Is that okay if I make a little noise?
Sure.
It's a handy little chopper here. Chops it up fine. For this recipe we're doing, you want things chopped kind of finely. So my story of stuffed green peppers has nothing to do with this, except that we're doing green peppers. How's that? Is that fine enough?
That looks great. Okay. Probably more than a cup, but I guess we're going to go with it. Okay, so what I will let you do next is chop a fine onion. Okay. All of the vegetables that we have sitting here, we're going to drain. So we have 1 can of black-eyed peas. And I might need to get this out here. See, we must have some advice for Brett and Brianna, don't we?
I don't know. I'm kind of running out of advice.
1 can of pinto beans.
The only advice I'd give you, Brett, now that I kind of think of it, is just remember
2 cans of...
That's it, 2 cans. Remember the 2 cans.
White shoe peg corn. Now, the first time that we were looking for this corn, we had some difficulty finding it. So our advice to people is it's on the top shelf.
It's on the top shelf in the corn section. So there you go, Brett. My advice to you as part of a marital relationship is when you go to look for shoe peg corn, go to the top shelf.
And as you can see, the consistency is much different than just regular yellow corn.
It's just little
tiny, and
it's in between the big yellow corn and the little baby corn that you get in Chinese restaurants. What is that food?
Those are like those tiny little ears of corn.
Little baby corn cobs.
Yeah. Okay, 1 can of green chilies.
Okay. I could use that masher for this too, but I don't want to make any more noise than I've been doing already.
Yeah. 1 can of jalapenos, and if you wanted, you could probably just put in fresh chopped jalapenos too.
Good.
And then 2 small jars or 1 larger jar of red pimento.
We're gonna call that good. Chopped well enough for my purposes.
Okay, so I'm just going to stir this around a little bit here so all of the juice drains out.
Okay.
And then if you want
Is this
to
our mixing
bring
bowl?
that bowl over right there.
All right. I'm gonna put that in first.
See how much water,
You're good.
liquid drips.
We're good. This is so easy
I remember
to make.
seeing, the recipe and thinking, this is
All these
some kind of weird stuff.
exotic,
in there,
exotic stuff that you don't normally buy every day, like
first time-
shoe peg corn.
Marlia made this for some event that the girls got together or something. It was really good.
Yeah,
And it's so
all
easy.
it's all about the juice that you pour on when we're done here. That's where all the flavor comes from.
So before we started making this, chopping and everything, Gary made
Watch out here.
Gary made the liquid that you're going to put on, so that you're going to mix in.
I'm
So
gonna mix this
he
first. Yep.
brought to a boil 1 teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, 3/4 of a cup of cider vinegar, and 1 cup of sugar. So you want to stir that around, and then after we have...
And after you boil it, you let it cool.
Yes.
So this
Yep.
has been cooling for 2 or 3 hours already. It's
Okay.
almost gelatin-like with that sugar in there. And you just pour it on. It's, like I said, this is so simple.
And you can make it the day before, to let it set up a little bit, or you can eat it right after you make it.
Stir that in. And then I am going to
Can
get some
probably
chips,
get
right?
this stuff, we get
Get
these
this out of the
things
way, and we'll get some chips for
out of the way
dipping.
here.
Okay.
So if we wanted, I'm going to put you over there. You just throw
Okay.
some more chips in there if you want
I
to.
thought you were going to put the 2 kinds in there. Okay.
So if you wanted to do something on an individual basis, which we've also done before, first time I had something like this, I was at a meeting in Madison, and it was a special reception. So they had a cup of some kind of salsa or something like that. So they had those in like a martini glass, and then they had chips around the
It's almost
side.
similar to what you do with the shrimp cocktail. You can
Right.
make shrimp around there too,
And then we're
but
just
not for this recipe.
no. And rather than having like the scoops, those are more of like a scoop. So then you can just put your larger chips, triangles like around, like so. And then if you wanted to do that for your guests, then just have another dish than just sitting
Can
out.
I turn this for you?
Sure. Okay,
I'll
that
get
one's
you on
done. This is what we are going to serve, one of the items at Brett and Brianna's wedding reception. The week after they get married, they're going to have their reception here in town. So I think they have to come out from behind the camera again.
Here we go
and see
again.
what they think of this new item. You'll probably figure out that this is even better than champagne or a martini.
Thank you.
What do you think?
Cheers.
Cheers.
You gotta eat it with your pinky out.
That's right, with your pinky out.
That's really good.
Well, I guess just enjoy every day, because as one of our friends said, you have a lot more yesterdays than you
Than
do.
you have
Well, at least
tomorrows.
we do.
For us.
For us.
They have a
Then
lot
we have
more. Hope God
tomorrows.
willing, they have a lot more tomorrows than yesterdays.
Yeah.
For us, it's the other
So
way
you just
around.
enjoy every day.
That's
and
right.
make it the best you can be.
I
So
like that.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Cooking with Ruth with the Something Borrowed. And until next time. Oh, and Gary. I'm sorry. Cooking
It's
with
okay.
Ruth and
That's
Gary.
okay. Yeah,
I
don't
always
worry if you
forget.
get left out, Brett. Don't worry about that. It's just that happens now and then.
Sorry. Happy cooking. That was good.
That was real good. You did it twice now this year. Have to get married. If Brett's anything like me, he'll just babble on and start telling stories, and you'll be like going, yeah, I've heard that one before.
We've been married almost 40 years. And Gary, you
I have one. I have a bit of advice.
What's that?
Don't talk with food in your mouth. I get told that often.
That's true.
That's why I was doing this. There's my advice.